Welcome to the KX Country Clubhouse. I'm Derek Mann from KX 96 Afternoons. I'm joined today by newcomer Dylan Schneider. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm doing very well, thank you. Now, you are out right now on your Bad Decisions tour, which we'll get to, but I do want to talk about your journey here first, because you are a newcomer. Your debut album, Puzzled, that was just released back in September, but you've been at this for quite a while, right?
Yeah, dude. I've been down in Nashville for like 8 years now.
And it's taken you, of course, 8 years to now come to your debut album. You've done the single, you've done the EP thing, but even before that, from what I understand, you were covering songs, posting them online. That's kind of how this started.
Yeah, dude. I was doing a bunch of covers on YouTube, started doing stuff on Instagram, Facebook, and it kind of picked up and people started seeing me, and it brought me to Nashville early in 2016, and kind of, it was back and forth in the beginning, but I haven't really, went back ever since, and just got stuck down there, and things have been going pretty good.
Do you have a favorite song that you would cover back then?
Yeah, one of my favorites to cover was, obviously, I like doing stuff like Friends in Low Places, where everybody would get involved. I liked doing, I feel like I always started with Boys Around Here, Blake Shelton.
Okay.
And then I like Take Your Time by Sam Hunt. Those are some of my favorite ones.
Oh,
Acoustic
awesome.
gigs all over the place.
I love it. Of course, you mentioned gaining social media followers and such a huge following even since then, and mentioning, going from YouTube to Instagram, now even TikTok. What's been kind of the most rewarding experience or rewarding thing about watching this grow and evolve?
I think just getting to see how I guess impactful what I do can be to certain people. I think that is such a cool I don't know, just feeling that it gives you so much satisfaction to just see someone smile and have someone tell you, your music changed my life, or this song got me through this, or you've picked me up on my bad days with what you say and the art you're creating. I think that's the coolest thing, and the fans and all that to me are my favorite part of it all, because you wouldn't be anything without the people that love you and people that support what you're making.
Absolutely. So what did that transition look like for you, coming from, starting with just posting these covers and things to picking up and moving to Nashville? Was it what pushed you to go there?
Yeah. Oh man, dude. It was honestly, Brett Eldridge was an artist around from where I'm from, just over in Illinois, probably I would say 25 minutes over the Indiana-Illinois border. And my grandma had played me his first album, and I had started picking up the guitar again because I was getting into it a little bit, and I wanted to be, I went to middle school at the time. I was probably sixth or seventh grade, and y'all say grade 6 and grade 7 in Canada, right?
Yeah.
I've heard people say that.
Yeah.
But I was, doing that, and I wanted to be the guy at the parties, the new, parties everybody's like country music, and I wanted to be able to play the guitar and sing and do all that stuff, And then I heard Brett's album, found out he was doing what he was doing, and thought maybe I could do it too. So I just kind of stuck with it and started writing songs and doing all the stuff on the internet and stuff like that. And that's, like I said, what led me to Nashville. Then I started writing down there, making connections, and all that stuff to just kind of was the big ladder of climbing to what got me to here.
Is the songwriting something that came naturally for you, or you kind of worked at it to see what you could do just to kind of get your feet wet?
It was in the beginning, I guess, something I hadn't really tried. I remember getting pushed real hard by my mom and dad to be like, "Oh, you've been doing all these covers. You should try to write your own song." And I did. And the first time I tried, I finished one, and then I started writing with my buddy Gabe Faust, who is also a successful songwriter down in Nashville now, and we've grown up together since we were 9 years old playing baseball. And he just got his first #1 hit with "I Can Feel It" by Kane Brown, and we just kind of grew up together writing, and always just bounced ideas off each other. And I mean, yeah, dude, for sure, we wrote horrible songs in the beginning. Listening back, we thought they were so good, but people always say, they're like, "Oh, there's no way I'm good at this. I can't be good at this." I'm like, sometimes you got to be bad at it just to figure out how to be good at it. You know what I mean?
Very true.
Like, and you'll be proud of the things you finish. Like, you'll be like, "Oh, I wrote a full song," but it's like you look back on it 6 years later and be like, "Dang, that was the worst song I ever wrote in my life." But if you never wrote that worst song of your life, you wouldn't get to the song that's a number one on radio one day.
Exactly. So, and with your debut album, Puzzled, you co-wrote all but one song, which was the title track, which you wrote entirely yourself. And you mentioned kind
Yeah.
of starting songwriting and, pushing forward to see what you can do to make it better and make those number ones. Now, how has that transitioned over into turning into a performer? Like, was songwriting at that point kind of at the forefront, or then you wanted to start doing your own thing, or how did that work?
I would say at first I was always a performer.
Okay.
I just like to get on stage. I just like to play. I just like to be in front of people, and especially even playing them cover songs, you know. And it got
Hmm.
even more fun when you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna play my own songs for people." It was obviously a little bit more nerve wracking, maybe because people wouldn't know it. You don't know if they're gonna like it, but yeah, songwriting. I've been asked that question. It's like, are you more of a writer or are you more of
Yeah.
on the stage guy? And that's just my favorite part of it all is getting up there and seeing the energy and playing the show. And obviously, as your songs get better, it makes it that much more fun playing your own songs. So, yeah, I would say they were both pretty on the forefront. I mean, I was writing every day, every week, for a few years. Took a little time off from like 2020 to like 2021, but now I'm back in it pretty heavily, and it's been good. I think I've only gotten better, and I'm working with some of the best writers I've ever worked with, and I got a good team of people that I trust, and we bounce ideas off of very well. So that stuff's been great.
That's awesome. And then, so you mentioned the performing aspect. I mean, you've toured with Morgan Wallen, Florida Georgia Line, people like that. Most recently, Luke Bryan and Mitchell Tenpenny. And from being a performer yourself, but kind of being in the background to these like country music superstars, icons, what have you learned from them, from being around them and their touring?
Dude, I always say like one of my favorite things to like learn and take back from like being around those people. And obviously some of them, like Mitchell has been a friend of mine since before we both were even getting like out on the road and doing anything. Like we started writing together in 2016. And then Nate Smith, he's great too. We were friends since like 2020. But I think being out with people like that, and even Luke Bryan, who's so big,
Mm.
getting to just like watch them be so humble and so inviting, and like make it feel like it's your tour too, and be so gracious and grateful to the fans and everybody that works out here on the road. That's something that I always try to take away and remember in my mind, because I'd want to be that guy. And I'm not going to say any names, but I've toured with people that aren't as gracious and aren't
For
as
sure.
inviting, and it's just not a fun environment to be out sometimes with people like
Mhm.
that. So I always try to keep that in my mind. It's like, if I'm the headliner, if it's my show, or even if I'm on somebody else's, like, be respectful, be cool, make a friendship. Don't, it's only as fun as you make it out here, and it's all about the I guess the morale at the end of the day. So I like seeing people like that. Just keep that up.
Absolutely. Now, being on your own headlining tour with that in mind, the Bad Decisions tour, how has that been going for you?
Dude, it's been great, man. I mean, we've sold out, almost half of the shows that we played so far, if not, damn near close. And yeah, they're just killing it. So I I don't have much to complain about. It's crazy to see. This is the first time I've ever done a full headlining tour, and
Yep.
to get that like attention and that I guess satisfaction of knowing what I'm doing is working from so many people. It's very gratifying, dude.
That's awesome. So, with it being your own headlining show, like you said, your first like full tour yourself, do you have a favorite moment of your show that you've been doing so far?
Dude, yeah, there's a couple that I really, really like. I I really like. I play my song "Daddy Drinks Whiskey" in this, and it kind of slows down into this like really like kind of it goes from being up fun to this really like legit kind of intimate moment with the fans, and getting to play that song live for the first time is always like really, really just like emotional and special. and then go straight into Better Than You Left Me after that, which is going to be our new radio single coming out next year in January. And already everybody's singing that song back every single night. So that's just so, so cool. And then obviously we wrap it up and end with Ain't Missing You, which has been doing so good over the last couple of years. And they sing so loud. It's so crazy. And it's just the most fun.
That's so awesome. Well, we are looking forward to seeing you here in KX Country. That show coming up at the Horseshoe Tavern, November 26th. And I thank you for taking the time today. Really looking forward to meeting you in person. Can't wait, buddy. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for the time. And I'll see you up there in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Can't wait.